Welcome to the big board with number 3, and number 3 is what we're going to do straight off. But remember number 3 when we go through it, because this is like we've done the level already, but this is a different level, isn't it? This is number 3 being down, down. Okay, so down, down, right? And when we look at a different level, it's going to take us a few minutes to do it, but we're going to do it in 8 minutes, right? So in 8 minutes, we'll do as much as we can. But this is usually a very important one for most people. Now, also, before I go into why is it actually important for you, we also wanted to understand, is it important for me? Because I'm doing the example here. And when I'm looking down at my relationships with people, it's the priority is, and I think with most of the people, the priority is you want to help and get involved in them the best way possible. So it's all about things like taking it a bit further, but at the same time, this is like something I just want to rank things as important as well. Just before I make decisions on things, I want to rank which is the most important for me. Obviously, me doing myself is fine, but obviously, when I help other people, I'll rank them in different ways. All right. And also, just to remind you, the question was, do you remember what generation I'm in, right? And you found out, yes you did, that it's in Generation X, right? But at the same time the question was, what generation are you in? Now obviously I don't know, because we're not sure about who you are, but it doesn't matter even if you don't know. It's just a position of saying, if you have this level here and we go up and down, the generational name doesn't matter, to be honest. We're going to take it further, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take this to a little area, which is actually not area 3, we're going to go to area 2, okay? And when it comes to money and we link these things together, it is not just the children that have to have money or the parents that have to have money, it's everyone in the family has to receive the money, but handle it in the right way. So we're going to do a different generation, and we're going to do it in a certain way, because this time we're still using the black pen, but we're also going to use the blue pen, right? So I'll come back to that in a second. But importantly, we're going to do it because as we do it on this different level, we're going to do it in a position where you're going to be different to me. And just explaining that one is, if it obviously, if I do here and we go to the next level, which is number 2, we're going to go down for down, down, right? And we go down. Now it might be that you're much older than me and you say, I've not just got children, I've got grandchildren and all that, so it's going to be slightly different. But also the other side, if you're much younger than me, you might say, no, I've got lots of parents and grandparents, but I haven't had children myself yet, you know. So it doesn't matter, it's still this principle, and it's a thing that will constantly happen and change as life progresses forward, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to get into it in detail, and still me showing you my position and why mine is also quite small, all right? So we're in jigsaw piece number 3, and we're at level 3, but we're now going to go to level 2, and we've gone down 1. And just to explain what's happened there, well, when I go down a generation from X, we end up with, we've got a position where my wife and me have a daughter, right? And that daughter is the only person in that system we have. So that's just in the word daughter. Right, I'll come back to this in more detail later, but that's from myself and my wife, right down there. But also in the same level across, my sister has a daughter who comes down all the way to the next generation as well. And she's obviously another daughter. Now, it could be that it is not just very straightforward for myself and for my sister. My sister on the other side, or sister-in-law of my wife, called, remember, Rachel, she might have a daughter or a son, we don't know yet. But if he does do anything on that side, there could be another bit generation matching this one, and that is just call that child, or children, sorry. So just call that children, but it's just a blue, it's a look forward it might be. So what you've just done is you've taken one step down in that generation, but also we're just going to do one more, right? So we're going to go down again, Okay, now this obviously, you can tell that this doesn't necessarily apply to me, because when I've got children who are very young, you know, and my sister's is only 3 as well. So when we get that low, they're not going to have any generation below them just yet, but it will happen in the future, or is likely to happen in the future. And what could happen is, even in my case with my daughter, she might have children going forward. All right, so now if I was looking at somebody else, not me, but somebody else who's much older than me, yes, of course, my daughter's 26 or whatever, and she's got two children already. So it doesn't matter, but you're going down these 2 different levels, 3, 2, 1, which is Generation X, and 2 other generations below, which have names. But I'll come back to that in a second. So what you've just done is you just put something together, and you have this interesting little bit where you've ranked them, and obviously he wants the register on the checklist. So what we're going to do, we're just going to do it in the right way. So we say, okay, number 5 is, let's just call it daughter 1 at this stage, right? And number 6 is going to be called daughter 2. Ooh. Daughter 2, and then number 7 is actually not there, right? So there's only 2, so we'll take that one off. Now it could change over time, but those 2 people who are in level 2, we know there's nothing in level 1, so we don't put that in a checklist. But if I don't change my checklist in the future, I could add people there later. The important thing is you don't need to decide what to do with things just yet. We'll give Mr. Checklist this back and give him a quick salute. Right, now we've got that registered, and we've actually set up the first bit and the second bit, which is 3, 2, and even number 1, which is all the way down, and you've registered them. So it's the important thing to say, when you're dealing with people down below you, it's a very important thing for them, because what we're trying to do is teach them the right way to use money in that respect. But not just money, there's various other things. And it's even when you look at most schools in the world, they'll tell people basic stuff, but they won't teach them the things that we want to teach them. And what we're going to do, it's a big issue, we're going to take it further. We have a definite, very specific subject on children going further forward. But at this stage, you're still in the bronze, and we're going to see where we can take it further and further. If you hadn't done anything like this, if you don't register them and start involving them in certain ways, to the right kind of level, it might be that they just didn't make or think about things, and what they've got on their advantage is time. Right? So same principle. If you're different from me, but your people are older, or you're just sort of moving up and down it, but it doesn't matter what we're going to do, we're going to take it further. But at the same token, you might be thinking something like this. Now that's perfectly normal as well, and it doesn't matter. What we're going to do, we're going to come back to this a little bit later on. But also as well, it's the pillar items that are important. As you know, they're just representing people in the lower level than me. But if you're much older than me, they wouldn't use this stuff, they're too old, whatever. But it doesn't matter, it's just saying, okay, we need to look at that when we put things together, because it's the reminder, and we've got a checklist, it'll keep coming up again and again to make you think about what you might do. So we're gonna give ourselves a big green tick on this section, and also we're gonna take number 3, and we need to score it red, amber, or green. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward things, but when we go a bit further down the line, it's going to get more detail, right? So also, we're going to take number 3 and put it on the other side in the big pie, but what we're going to do is then take it further into number 4, if you can remember what number 4 was. But the last question on this one is, if you are going to do some planning, even in there, when is the best time to start? Right, I'll see you soon. And did you, I don't know what you did as children, but did you know in my wife, she had her parents used to give her a bottle. But in England, we have funny food sometimes, and she got cups of tea in the bottle for child. So it's it tastes okay actually, but we're very used to tea here, so things change as we go forward, but just thought I'd remind you all that. See you soon, bye.